That's right. The United Nations General Assembly meeting is still ongoing, but drawing to a close, the 7th and 9th edition. And of course, we've been giving you updates right here on Channels Television, mostly from the public sector. Now, let's get close to the private sector, see their representation there, and see perhaps what they have gained from the meetings that have been going on for about a week now and coming to an end, I guess, this weekend. We have joining us from New York and who has been participating in the meetings, the Chief Executive Officer of BMO Advisory Services. She's also a board member at Wema Bank. That's Bola Matel Oko. Hi, Bola, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us.
Oh, well, it's a good morning from you.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's a good morning. Thank you for having me. Yeah, bright and early too.
Yeah, we got you up earlier than you would have. So how has it been, the meetings, the interactions? We've seen a lot going on in the government side. We've been following our vice president, who is representing the president. We saw the solid minerals meeting yesterday. But for you as a private sector right there, how has it been?
It's been a revelation, honestly. You know, as an executive coach, I always say that awareness is the first step in solving any problem. And what this week has done for me is create a high sense of awareness about the position that Africa is as regards so many things that we're trying to focus on, whether we're talking about sustainable development and financing, peace and security, or a digital future for all youth and future generations, global governance. And what I've been able to take away is that it will take a collective effort, you know, because many times we feel like government is the one that has to do anything. But for me, as a private citizen, I am coming away with a sense of responsibility. One of the events that I attended that was really impactful was at the Harvard Club. I think this was on Wednesday, that focused on the International Foundation for Valuing Impacts. And they talked about risk, reward, and impact. And for me, as a private individual that also has a business, it really set me thinking about the things I can do in my business to be able to create systems that are more sustainable, because it's going to take a collective effort, like I said, for us to save and preserve the climate. And also yesterday, I attended a wonderful event, WIPIA. It was the launch of the Women in Philanthropic and Impact. And it was really very, very inspiring to see women really be in the forefront of trying to lead the charge for change. And Africa as a continent, we are blessed. You know, one of the speakers on the panel spoke about how, 60% of the resources for sustainable renewable energy, which is solar, is on the African continent. And so for me, I see opportunities, you know, because when you are aware of problems, it also creates opportunities. And one of the things that Ms. Awoshika said also at the event in Harvard, she talked about how as a continent, we may start slow, but we have so many resources when you talk about human capital. So we might start slow, but we have the advantage of catching up and even, of getting ahead. And so this is a challenge to us as a country and individually to begin to recognize not just the problems, but to see the solutions and profile solutions and work with government to be able to create a more sustainable planet for everyone.
Yeah, but I think the thing is, Bola, I don't think we lack the talk on solutions. You talk to government, you talk to the private sector. Everybody knows what we should be doing to explore the potentials which we are so used to. But I wonder if there's a way to kickstart it, because that's where it seems there's a gap. So we know what we're supposed to do, but actually doing it is another.
So I always say, because I'm a leadership coach, and I always say that one of the problems we have in not just Nigeria, but in Africa is not a problem of resources. We are a blessed continent. It's about leadership. And when I talk about leadership, it is the ability to inspire the the populace to see themselves as stakeholders in what is going on. Because when you feel detached from a problem, when you feel like it's not my problem, it does not affect me, it's really very difficult for you to get involved in trying to get a solution. But if you see yourself as a stakeholder, and I think this is an effort that must start from the grassroots, we must begin to talk about these values. For me, I'm a bit more conscious now about whether it's the power that I consume, whether it's trying to recycle plastic, or it's just trying to put in more sustainable systems in my business. So we really need to put in place a system that would educate people. You know, there's this saying that ignorance is bliss, and nothing could be further from the truth. Ignorance can be very, very costly. You know, somebody said, people say education is expensive. Try ignorance. So I think that we must really be committed to the process. We must set up structures that would really take it upon themselves to start to educate and execute these plans, because we know what to do. You are so very correct. We know what to do. So it's not a matter of not knowing what to do. It's about execution. And that's where we really have to rise up to the challenge at this point.
Yeah, well, I hope we do very soon as a continent, not even just as Nigeria. Now, we've seen MOU signed. We saw with the government and the private sector. For you, what would you say is your major take-home as this meeting comes to a close?
So I didn't hear you. It was a bit muffled.
Okay,
can you repeat the question?
So I'm asking, what's your major benefit or gain by the time you look back through all the meetings and going back home from UNGA?
So, like I said, it takes one person to create change. And so for me as a person, I have the, not that I've never had the awareness, I have a keener awareness. And I'm inspired to be that one person that would create change. And how do I do it? I start in my organization. And once I start in my organization, then I can begin to also influence other people to begin to imbibe these values. Because like I said, at the end of the day, it is going to take a collective effort for us to be able to not only become a continent that not just has resources, but we actually are a player on the international stage. So for me, I feel a sense of investment in this, in the process at this point, which I can't necessarily say I had before I went to New York. So it's really been a learning experience for me, and I'm really, really committed to the process more than ever before.
All right, yeah. But I'm going to tell your colleagues and everyone around you to watch out for you implementing that.
Yes, absolutely. There's so many ideas that are bubbling in my head, and honestly, I can't wait to begin to execute some of these ideas, because I know that when we begin to rise up to our potential, we will be a force to be reckoned with in the international stage.
All right, thank you so much, and we really wish you the best in executing those ideas. Bola Marteloko is the Chief Executive Officer of BMO Advisory Services and a board member at Wema Bank. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.